Welcome, everybody. This is Coffee with a Journalist. I'm in a coffee shop. Can you tell? And I actually got coffee, and people are having coffee back there in San Francisco. So it's a little loud in here today. That's okay. We got to run with it. And today with us, I think in your you're in your house, right, Tina?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, she's cozy in her house. This is Tanya Mitra. She is a senior reporter at Citywire USA, and I'm excited to have you here today. Yay, yay.
Thank you. No, I'm definitely excited to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
Yes. First off, you're based in New York City. Tell us a little
Mhm.
bit about Citywire, because that's maybe not as known of an outlet, perhaps, for some folks.
Yeah.
What do y'all cover? What do you not cover?
Okay, so, well, first of all, our headquarters are in London. So we're London based, but
Exactly.
I work for our US office in New York, and we cover the asset and wealth management industry. We're a trade publication, so our readers are people from the industry as well. And that's pretty much what I do. So I cover your big companies like your BlackRocks and Vanguards, Blackstones. That's kind of the world we cover.
ETFs, SEC stuff,
Yep,
right?
yep,
CIOs, Chief Investment Officer, JP Morgan, yeah, all the things,
yep.
yes.
All of those
Mm,
things.
mm.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, you used to be at, Times of India, you've been at the Statement, you've been at various things. Do you like this nitty-gritty financy world?
Yeah, you know what? I didn't expect to be in finance journalism, but I went to grad school, and this was really kind of the first job I got. So I took it,
Yeah.
and it was totally new to me. But I always say that nothing's empowered me more than my job, because before this job, I really knew nothing about money, period. So I feel like props to that, because
Yeah, and she's like,
I
now
just
I know all
learned
about
so
money.
much. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
absolutely. And now I really enjoy it. I actually find myself thinking about ETFs even when I'm not working, which I think should say something. So,
Oh, yes. When it's just to infiltrate your brain, no, this
yeah,
is, yes. Okay.
into deep.
Um, I imagine the pitches you get are dry, but tell us about the inbox. Tell us about the
Yeah,
inbox. How is it in there?
it can get rough sometimes, but
Hmm.
I think that most PR people do try to be at least somewhat relevant to what you're doing, and that's helpful. But that's what the inbox looks like. You're getting pitches every day because part of our job is covering like product launches and stuff like that, and products are getting launched on the daily. So that's a great chunk of the inbox, but we also get some really good stuff as well.
Mm. Do you have any right now that you would be willing to share that you're like, oh my gosh, I love this, don't love this? It's okay if you don't have any examples, but by chance.
Well, it's not pitch for like a product or
Yeah.
anything, but one of the issues that I'm covering, not the issues, one of the things I'm covering right now is in the ETF world, ETF share class applications. It's
Hmm.
basically a whole thing where ETFs could be become a share class for mutual funds. It's kind of a niche thing, but
Hmm.
it's a very big thing in the asset management industry. So I've got a bunch of people in my inbox pitching people I can talk to about this and the various issues around it, and that is something I'm interested in. And I like to talk to people about things I'm learning more about and things that are currently happening.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Okay. What and source wise, who are you looking for?
oh,
CIOs,
yeah.
bankers, ex
Anyone
bankers?
anyone who will tell me anything basically, and I think
No
that's
one will tell
pretty
me anything. Love it.
if pretty much the run of the mill for journalists. Of course, like we have our people we'll go to for interviews, for like interviewed articles, and that could be your CIOs or in our case, wealth heads and stuff like that.
Mhm.
But generally, a lot of good stories will often come from people who may not want to go on the record with you, but who will give
Yep.
you a nugget of information that you can then follow up
Ooh,
on.
ooh. Let's get into that for a second because
Yep.
we've had many topics on here, and we've had
Uh-huh.
many discussions about on the record, off the record, etc. I imagine for you specifically, there's a lot of people who are like, you cannot be mentioning my damn name because I'm
Yep.
telling you some juicy tea that should not be existing right in the world. How do you define and delineate this is on the
Yep.
record versus not?
Well, so there's a couple of things. Number one, a lot of the people I talk to come with their own PR professionals. Like, if you're talking to,
They're being
some,
babysat
yep, if
by
they're
us.
being babysat. Yeah, they're being babysat by you, by their compliance teams, by all of that.
Uh-huh.
And so with those kind of interviews, it's like from the very beginning, it's very clear whether the conversation's on the record, off the record, in between if they want to go off the record. So that's very well set out, and oftentimes those people will have their PR representatives on the call, etc. And that's one kind of interview. But I think the real source building outside happen a lot of it happens outside of that, where you have sources when you don't even know who their PR is, and it's a very down low relationship you have with them, where it's completely independent, and probably nothing they ever tell you will be on the record. It's just all they're just giving you information, and it's kind of a off the official channels kind of a source. And so there's value in both of those kinds of relationships. Obviously you need to quote people, you need to have people who will contribute to your stories, but it's also important to have the sources who's gonna you're just gonna talk to and to just get information from, and for no other reason.
So I like that
Yep.
distinction where you're saying like, oh yes, they are coming with the compliance officers, the IR
Yep.
people, the PR people, that. Yes. Yes, in this world, I imagine no one's going off the cuff like,
No.
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 Okay, so that leads me then to relationship building.
Yep.
Because you are always going to see the PR people, like you're going to.
Yep.
This is regulatory compliance, federal stuff. How do you like to make relationships with publicists, if at all? Maybe you're like, I just want to see them on a call and forget it.
No, I actually happen to think, at least for the industries that I cover, it is one of the most important things that you kind of have to do, because a lot of times, the people that you want to interview, whether it's a CEO or a CIO or whatever, they are not going to reply to you. So you have to go through their PR, and it pays off to have a good relationship with the PR, because they control who gets to talk to that CEO or who gets to talk to that CIO.
Yeah.
And it is like a reciprocal relationship where I want to be upfront with the PR as well, that these are the topics I want to cover. It's not a gotcha. It's not something steady. If there is something going on that may be not so favorable towards the company, I'll be like, hey, I am going to ask about this, but that's my job as a journalist, that you are going to ask about those things. So it is very important, I think, to have good relationships with the PR people. And not to mention, when it comes for embargoes, or when it comes for time for exclusives, that's really what's going to pay off as well, because there's 100% been times where you get an exclusive because you have a good relationship with the PR, and that kind of blends with what you're covering, fitting what their company does. So yeah.
Okay, good to know. Now, being in New York, do you want to see people in person ever? Like publicists specifically, or what actually, and do you even want to do? I mean, New York is the center of money, of course. Do you at all like to do interviews in person?
Yes, I love an in-person meetup. I love an in-person chat, but a lot of it is unfortunately on Zoom or Teams or whatever. Even for people who are in New York, it just happens that the people I interview or want to talk to, they're busy. Their calendars are booked like back to back to back. So a lot of the times they can only do meetings on Zoom, but where possible, 100% in person is the way to go. It just makes people more open, I feel.
I think, yeah, exactly. Like for you want to be like, no, tell me more. How's it going?
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Okay. So she likes to make in person contacts. Okay, this is good.
Yep.
This is good. Organizing the pitches that you get. Let's get back to that.
Yeah.
How do you do it, or what do you do? Some people have no process, and that's okay too.
Yeah. It's kind of like that for me, where it's no solid process, but in my head, like I do know what kind of coverage is priority for us. And that may be in terms of what the firm is, or what the product is, or what the topic is. So when I look at a pitch, in the first three sentences, I'll know whether or not this is something, like how interested we'll be in covering it. And if it's high on that interest scale, I'll probably pick it up immediately and be like, hey, I am interested in this, would love to talk more. If it's not an immediate thing, a lot of times I will just flag it, and this is kind of my red flag. I'll just flag everything and be like, that's a problem for another time. So sometimes that does happen as well. Yeah.
Okay, got you. And then further question, because this isn't so common, do you go back 6 months, 3 months later, or whatever, and pull up pitches you've gotten before?
Not 3 to 6 months,
No?
because
Oh,
usually by
too
that
fast.
time,
Yeah.
it's probably redundant by
Mm,
that time. Unless it's like a trend thing that I'm following, where I feel like I
uh-huh.
could reach out to the PR and be like, hey, do you have like an expert I could talk to about this? Or,
Mm,
XYZ person or XYZ firm is doing this thing, and I'm, following this story. So if it's a continuous story, yes. But most pitches are not. Most pitches are like, this happened, this launched, or, the Fed said that these are the comments, etc. So, no, in those cases.
okay, got you. What do you love when publicists do something? Like, actually, you know what? I'm going to start a new thing on this thing. I love it when publicists insert.
I love it when publicists just know what I'm covering, know my work, and they're just very direct with it. And I think this is probably what a lot of journalists tell you, but I mean, it's really true, because I've gotten pitches for cars and stuff, and I'm like, you haven't even looked
Cars?
at my yeah,
No, no,
yeah, you haven't even looked at my author page, so yeah,
no, very clearly. Do you ever
yep.
write back, by the way, to anybody? Like, hey, this is just not what I cover. Like, or you don't respond.
Well, no, not for the car type pitches. No, I just don't respond because
Yeah,
it doesn't make sense for me at
doesn't
all.
make sense. Yep,
But
I get it.
yeah,
I get it. I get it.
yeah.
Yeah.
But there are times when it's still in the finance world, but maybe not exactly the world that I cover. But so in those cases, I'll usually go back and be like, hey, this is exactly what I cover, and I might explain what I do so that they have a better understanding as well. Yeah.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. But it's so nice when someone actually like looks at your outlet and knows and kind of guesses
Yep.
it. Okay. What about the opposite? Anything specific where you're like, I cannot stand? Obviously, you don't look at my stuff. Yes, that's the opposite of what you just gave us. But like
Yep.
anything else is like a pet peeve for you.
I think it's when like a PR person, they'll send me a pitch. If I don't respond, and if it's something that's happening today, they'll resend that pitch a couple of days later or next week, and it's already old news. Like, it's old news by then too. So that kind of, because then it's just the same thing again. And to me, that's like, if we haven't covered it, we're probably not gonna cover it. If it's like, news that's happening.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So you're
Yeah.
not covering it. You're just like, it's not interesting. No.
No,
Yep.
yeah, exactly. But they'll send the same pitch, like say the following week, and it's already out of, dated
Wait a
by
second.
then.
Wait a second. Wait a second. Like you get the exact same pitch where it's just a different week. Like someone just is like pitching you again, thinking it's the first
Yeah.
time.
No, not necessarily thinking it's the first time, but more so just like, oh, bringing this up again. But for instance, like, if an ETF launches yesterday, that's yesterday's news. So if you send
Yes.
that same thing to me again Thursday, that's redundant. It's A, already out
Yeah.
there, and
Yes.
B,
Yeah.
I've probably taken a look at it, and it wasn't again high up in the priority list for the day or for the week. So it's one of those things.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Not
Yeah.
good sauce. May we play, Tina,
Hmm.
our fast question segment, if that
Oh
sounds
my
good.
gosh. Yeah, that
Okay.
sounds
Okay.
good.
Okay. Sounds good. Sounds good. Here we go.
Yep.
Okay. Video or phone interview? Well, you said you
Video.
like in person. Okay, video, yes.
Yep.
Okay, now why do you like video? Because you get to see people totally.
Yeah. You get to see people. I just feel like, as a journalist, more personalization always
Mhm.
helps. The more you can make someone feel comfortable, and the more you can show them that you are a real person too, and not just someone to approach with skepticism. That's
Yes,
always better. Yep.
yes, yes. Bullet points or paragraphs in a pitch?
Bullets.
Bullet points, yes, my favorite.
Yep.
Okay, so
Absolutely.
short or long pitches? I imagine short.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
Images attached or a Dropbox zip file? Although I don't know who's sending you images, but
If at all, any kind of attachments just attached. Yep.
attached. Okay, great.
Yep.
And by the way, why? People have
It's
very
just
distinct answers on this one.
I just like to click on it, and I mean, I don't know. It's just I just feel like I can click on it. I don't need to. I don't know. It's just
Yeah.
one of those things. Yep. It's
For
just in
me,
the
it's saying like
email.
I don't want to click on another
Yep.
thing, and then the link is old, and then I need a login for the thing, and then
Yep.
I got to sign in with my exactly. That's just me too. Okay,
Yep.
what about email or a DM of some sort?
Email is probably better because I check my emails every day. Uh, And not to mention email or LinkedIn. I do check my LinkedIn as well, and sometimes people will reach out and that works, but probably email. Yep.
Okay. One follow up or multiple?
Depends on the topic, but I feel like if it's something that I really want to cover, you won't need to follow up. So
Okay. Okay. Direct or creative subject lines?
direct.
Direct. Press
Yep.
release or media kit?
Press release.
Yeah, I
But
don't.
depends
Again, who's
again.
sending you? Yeah, go ahead.
Yep. Sorry, I was just gonna say press
Yeah.
release, but again, just depends on the topic usually. Yep.
Although for your space, I mean, who's sending you a media kit with like images?
That's true.
What do you
Yeah,
get?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Now you mentioned just earlier you're reading them. You read pitches every day, but do you have a time that you specifically read pitches, or is it like all the time?
I am the kind of person that if something hits my inbox, I need to open it immediately. Because
Oh, you're one of those people. Wait,
I am one of those people.
are you a unread email zero girl?
Yes.
Me too.
Yep.
Yes.
I
Nothing is
can't do
more
it.
satisfying than the zero.
100%. Yeah, I can't do the whole, especially because like I have Google Alerts set up for every single thing, so it would be impossible. So
Yeah, you're like, okay, impossible. Okay, great. And then my last question here. Oh yeah, we already talked about sources. You said everybody and anyone who's talking to me who wants to talk to me. So
yeah.
yeah, do you want to hone in on that one though just a little bit more?
Yeah, absolutely. No, definitely. I think a lot of the sources that I would like to make actually are on the more investment banking side, because I know that they always have good info on like deals and stuff like that. And and the analysts at the banks, for instance, they cover the companies I cover, so they will probably have a lot of inside info that I won't know. So far I've been stonewalled by them, but we're working on it. We're working on it. And then the other side of it, I would say within the asset and wealth management space, we cover a lot of the gatekeeper teams. They call the gatekeeper teams. They're responsible for the funds that get on their platforms. So, for instance, at Morgan Stanley, there's a team that decides which funds their advisors will have access to, and though that is a core part of our audience, so them as
Oh,
well. Yeah.
oh, that they get access to.
Yep.
Okay, Tina, is there anything you want to celebrate, promote, etc. about you? About
About
anything?
me.
We're here. We're here to be PR people, you know?
That is true. But I just go read my work if you can. I think that's the only
Yes.
thing. I try to, yeah.
By the way, okay, one last little nitpicky type of question. Hotly debated is the pitch. Oh my gosh, Tina, I read your article on X and I loved it so much. What's your opinion on that?
Um, I think it's nice when people do read your work, but not maybe in a
Performative.
way, yeah, not in a performative way, because I've definitely had PR people who've generally read my work, and then I've had very enlightening conversations with them, because you'd be amazed at how much knowledge the PR people in the industry have, because they kind of have to have that knowledge. So sometimes just the conversations with them are great, and if they've read my work and I know about their company, it's a great conversation, and
Mm-hmm.
that I really appreciate.
Okay. Okay. So, okay.
Yeah.
That sounds good. Oh, this has been a joy, Tina. Thank you so much for being here. I love that you're thinking about ETFs all the time in your sleep when you go to bed, all the things. I think this means you like it.
Yeah, yeah. I feel like I'm stuck here now. I'm gonna be here a while.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Now you know all about money. See?
Yeah.
Well, everyone, this is Tina Mitra, who is the senior reporter at Citywire USA. If you're in New York City, listen, she likes to meet in person.
Yeah.
If
Hit
you're
me
talking
up.
about money. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly,
Hit
exactly.
me
Hit her
up.
up. Okay,
Yeah.
perfect. Well, thank you so much, Miss Tina. Great job. We'll see you in
Thank
New
you.
York.
See you. Thank you. Bye.